Hello, everyone. John Drennan, sales manager at VIP Mortgage. You know where I'm at? I'm back in the podcast studio, and I'm here with a friend of mine, Mr. Damian Einbinder with Home Finder Realtor. Damian, thank you very much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me, John. I really appreciate your time.
Awesome. Well, Damian, we want everybody to know who you are personally, professionally. We want to talk about your wonderful children. We want to talk about the sign, the epiphany that happened to get you into real estate. I love that story. And then we'll talk a little bit about the Las Vegas market. You wanted to talk about that, some of your professional thoughts and opinions. And I also always love to hear a win. Okay, I love wins. I love when there was a deal that maybe wasn't going to happen, but it happened because you and the other agent and maybe the lender, maybe the appraiser. I mean, just everybody came together. We don't forget about our title people. They work a lot of magical things too. So.
Yeah.
So once again, Damian, thank you very much for coming in. I want everybody to know who you are. Tell your story. Talk about your family. Talk about, once again, the epiphany that happened in real estate as you were looking for a different career. So the floor is yours. You're born and raised in Las Vegas, which is not as uncommon as it used to be. My wife's born and raised in Las Vegas. What is even more uncommon, my in-laws are born and raised in Las Vegas. Now, were your parents born and raised here?
No, my mother's from Mexico. My father's from Washington, D.C.
Oh, wow. Okay. And how did they meet?
Well, my father actually, he was looking at some potential time for they got him for cheating at gambling, but he ended up winning his case. Thank you, Lawrence Semenzer. I would have never been born. And he in his apartment complex, he was friends with my aunt. So my mom came from Mexico to visit my aunt. And he was mesmerized,
Wonderful.
Yeah, she did the makeup commercials for Clareol in Mexico, so she's full-fledged beauty. Still is, Mom.
Big shout out to Mom. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he approached her with his broken Spanish, and probably feeling good for not having to go to prison for a long time, and he ended up with He ended up with the beauty queen.
Wow, that's an amazing story. So I love it. Number one, he's out here doing the right thing. Gambling's legal. Somebody said he did something wrong, which is not true. So he won his case.
Card counting's legal.
Yeah, card counting is legal. It's frowned upon, but it is legal. I could tell you a few stories myself, but we'll do that on a later date. With that being said, but your mother was here visiting, her sister. They met, they fell in love, and then here you are. Born and raised in Las Vegas.
Here comes Damian.
All right. So what high school did you go to?
I went to Silverado High School.
Okay, Silverado High School. A lot of people go to that high school. Las Vegas is large, the fifth largest school district in the United States. My wife works for the school district. I have other family that works for the school district, so I know a lot about it. But, there's little sectors in Las Vegas, people that would... who was your biggest rival kind of thing? So like a lot of people still play on that, especially if you go to one school or another. I was just talking to somebody, and she said, man, my daughter's school does very, very well in softball. But she goes, gosh darn it, Palo Verde always beats them. You know what I'm saying? They're that good, but Palo Verde, so that's their competition. So I always like to throw out there people that are born and raised here. Let people know where you went to school. It's fun.
Yeah.
People would be like, oh, we would beat you, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, all right. So you're a Las Vegas native.
School beat me, so I never got into that.
So you're a Las Vegas native. You graduate high school. You don't really know what direction you're going to go into. And so like I said, tell your journey, tell your epiphany that happened, and why you got into real estate. So just everybody needs to know your story, Damian.
Well, let me see. When I was 22 years old, I got into the bartenders union.
Okay, nice.
I showed up. How does a guy get into this? You don't. But what if you do? And then they say, you know what a bar back is? Go out there and work. Okay, so I go out and work, and they like me. So come back. You want a regular job? I say, sure. I could use it. By this point, my son's already, 3 years old, so okay. I need the money, definitely. Of course. Anyways, I get the job, I start working, blah, 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 blah. Fast forward, I've been doing this, I've never really been all that great at holding a job. I guess it's not my DNA, John. I've been doing this for 7 years, but 7 months on a regular job is,
It's just how your mind works. Yeah, it's how your mind works. There's a lot of people that are amazing entrepreneurs, and that's what you are now. Okay, but you're just not a 9 to 5. I'm not a punch a clock kind of guy.
Terrible.
And some of the greatest, if you think about it, you hear the stories. You go back and start looking at some of the greatest entrepreneurs and business owners. They failed up until 30. They failed up until 40. Some of them didn't succeed until they're 55 years old. So you know what? You're that guy. You're the guy who just
track
says
for success.
Yeah, you're like, hey, I'll just be honest with you. I'm not a great 9-to-5er. I'm not a great punch the clock. But at the same time, here you are running your own business, and you're being very successful at it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that reassurance.
So, once again, you're bouncing around with different bartending. You got to support your family. You have a son, and you want to make sure that you're doing everything, but you just know that something's not right. And so you told me the story where in between one of these jobs, you're like, what do I do? And you kind of go back to your dad's, playing poker and gambling and stuff. And you said you were at a
terrible poker player. I'm better than he is.
Okay. But you said that you were playing poker and you won some money.
Oh, yeah. So, let me give you the little backstory. You know how I said I couldn't, that whole 7 months was a miracle? Well, one of those 7-month miracles came up, and, we're at 6.5 months, and they say, no, get out of here. And I say, oh, okay. Well, anyways, my future beautiful daughter's mother's at home, and she's like, oh, Damian, you're an idiot. Go, I'm going to get you a job taking out needles at the hospital. I'm like, oh, man, I really don't want to do that, John. So I go play poker, to ease my mind. Mm-hmm. And I win, $600, $700, $800, whatever. So anyways, I'm still in that little fog that I'm going to be taking out needles at the hospital. This is awful. So I'm driving and I see Key Realty School and I'm like, realtor, I could do that. So I pull in. And I go in, how do you get in? Well, you pay, I think it was $600. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I had it in my pocket.
Your pocket. You didn't even have to think about it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They looked very surprised that I paid in cash, actually.
So I bet you most people don't.
Apparently not. So I pay them, and now I'm in real estate school. So I delayed having to take out the needles at the hospital for a week conversation. And, I start real estate school. Okay. Well, actually, in between the time I started real estate school and paid for real estate school, I still had a couple $100 left in my pocket. Mm-hmm. And I did go back and play, John. And I lost. Of
course. Now you lost, but guess what? You won. And like I said, that was a sign from God. You know what I'm saying? Literally, I don't think anybody's ever going to say a sign from God was Key Real Estate School. But if it wasn't for you being in a cloud, going, this is my girl's going to make me do something that I don't want to do. But no matter what, I got to support our family. Okay, help support our family. And then all of a sudden, and then you see the sign of Key Real Estate School. So, that's a good story to tell. And here you are all these years later, doing well, supporting your family, enjoying it. But, once again, you're running your own business. Your mind works, like an entrepreneur, like an artist.
Mysterious ways.
Yeah, mysterious ways, exactly. The mother of your children will probably say something different too. Mysterious ways.
Don't ask her.
Exactly. I always tell everybody.
We don't need her on the next podcast.
Exactly. I always tell everybody I'm a flawed man. Just ask my wife. She'll tell you over and over how flawed I am. All right. So you did it. You passed your exam. But all real estate schools teaches you to do is to pass the exam. So where did you go right out of real estate school?
I was at Realty One for 3 weeks, and I realized, I'm not going to learn anything here.
Okay.
So I get a cold call from this lady, and she says, come over here. It was called Easy Street Realty.
I remember that.
So I go in there, and the bald guy with the big forehead, he gives me his pitch, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, wow, this is good as any. So sign me up. So I go into our broker's office. Mr. Brett Hawley, my greatest mentor. Thank you very much, Mr. Hawley.
There you go. Yeah,
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you talking to Mr. Drennan. Anyways, I go into his office. What's your name? What's your social? This, that. And then he asked me, what's your address? I'm not, he still lives there, so I'm not going to say the actual address. So I say 83, whatever. Once again, I don't want to give his address out. I say the street and the address, And he's what part of that street? And I'm like, man, this guy must be good. He knows some little street in Las Vegas. He lived 5 houses down from me.
Really?
Yeah.
Small world.
Yeah. And I'm a real estate broker now, but he's brokered billions of dollars in transactions, So he's got the great mind.
The whole memory. Yeah, realtors, I'm not picking on realtors, but realtors remember addresses over names. They remember the faces of their clients, but it'll be kind of funny. I had this one realtor that I don't think we were too much of a model match because I always kind of threw it back at him. He's like, "Hey, what's going on with 123 Main Street? What's the status of that file?" And I'm like, "Who's that? I don't know addresses." And he's like, and then he would always get mad at me because then he'd be like, "Fine, Mr. and Mrs. Smith," and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, they're doing great. The loan's great. We're about ready to close. Thanks for calling for the update." But yeah, we didn't model match too much for too long because his whole thing was address, 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 and this guy would not even remember his clients' names until he pulled up the contract.
Personality types,
Yep.
One here, but
exactly.
Sometimes you just got to meet right here.
Yep. So you go to this place on a cold call. You're just like, whatever. I'll just give it a try. And like you said, then you met your most amazing mentor. And how long were you?
Thank you.
So how long were there?
I was there. I must have been there 4 or 5 years. And then I won't get into the gory details, but some lady pissed me off, so I left. And I went back to Realty One.
Okay.
And I stayed there once again. Thank you, Mr. Mark Otero. You were pretty cool. Thank you. You're no Brett Hawley, but you're a cool guy. Thank you, Mr. Otero. And I walked in. I was actually looking for home. Jimmy Deluge's company, Home Course, something like that.
Yeah, okay.
I forget. So I walk in and I talk. They say come back in an hour. Talk to the broker, and I was like, "Oh, this guy's cool. Okay, sign me up." So, what business was awful. I wasn't doing anything, but at that point, I was back working another bartending job. I was at the Circus, which anyone who's been to the Circus will probably tell you I wasn't making fantastic money.
Understood.
Yeah, this wasn't the job you ought to retire at.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm what am I, 33 at the time, something like that. I'm like, man, I think I need to do something to not have to work at the Circus for the next 33 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, I got a real estate license. So I start waking up early as hell, and just being the first guy in the office. Besides Otero. Otero always beat me. You're a hell of a worker, Mr. Otero. And I'd get in there, but he would leave before me. So give me some credit there, Mr. Otero. And I would just work my ass off. And I did that for, I was at Realty One for about, I don't know, 13, 14, 15 months, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, when I got there, I was doing zero business. The year before that, I think I made $2,500.
Wow.
Yeah. And, whatever I made at the Circus, which was probably about $2,500.
Mm-hmm.
And, I did that. I worked my ass off and business picked up. Anyways, so you're aware of the commission lawsuit and everything, right?
Correct.
So that came in, and I'm thinking to myself, I think there's an opportunity here, and I'm driving one day, and I'm thinking about it, and I was just like, I'm going to do buy now, pay later, right? You're going to buy your home now, and you're going to pay the commissions later. I was like, great. So I start researching all this.
Okay.
And I realized all the commissions belong to the broker.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a real estate broker at this time. I work for Mr. Otero, who's a great real estate broker, third best in town. And, once again, I'm a lucky dude. I get lucky again. And in 3 weeks, I'm able to take the broker test. I have enough experience to be able to take the broker. So I sign up, blah, 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 blah. Mike Featherwitz, rest in peace. Thank you for everything you did to help push me towards figuring it out. He was the key realty guy. Anyways, so I go take the exam or I sign up to take the exam. And, I didn't really study,
Most realtors don't to do that, and they want to know what section that they didn't do well on. Then they study that section, they go back and take it again.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, oh man, I'm gonna fail. I should have studied. So I go in. So it says they send me the calendar invite. It says show up at 9 a.m. So I go there at 9 a.m. It's actually across the street from the Circus where I took the test.
Nice.
And so I go in there and it's scheduled it through East Coast time, whatever. And they said, come back in 3 hours. So I go across the street to the delicatessen and I start eating a pastrami sandwich and looking and studying the stuff. And I went back 3 hours and I passed.
There you go.
Smart
guy. Like I said, you just got to do things on your own schedule. That's all it is.
Talk about being lucky, man. So I passed and I'm like, okay, well, now I got to do all this. So I start Home Finder Realty, blah, 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 blah. Mike Featherwitz, thank you, Mike, helps me get the office and everything.
Nice.
And now I'm a broker owner, Damian Einbinder. Oh, cool. I got a fancy title. All right. So here I am. And that's basically how I got this fancy title.
Nice. Okay. All right. Well, you said when we started talking about doing the podcast, you wanted to kind of throw out some of your professional opinions on what's going on in the real estate market. We got a lot of commercial buildings being built all over the valley, a lot of different apartment buildings because we definitely need housing. And, relatively compared to some places, we're still relatively okay expense-wise. In certain places, comparatively, we're very, very expensive. But, I wanted to give you the opportunity to kind of tell what your projections are or what you believe is going to happen, any insider information, just in general. So once again, tell everybody. I want people to understand who you are. I want people to understand that you do take this very seriously. Like I said, you're 9 to 5, punch a clock's not you. You're an entrepreneur. You have your mind works in a different way.
Speak Spanish too.
And you speak Spanish. I love that. And you just want to help people. So talk a little bit about what you think about what's going on in the market.
Fluently, by the way.
You should. Your mom's Mexican.
Well, yeah, that helps. I didn't get.
You didn't get any food unless you knew how to speak or at least interpret Spanish.
Yeah, I got hit if I wanted more food. Anyways, what was the question?
Just tell them about what your thoughts are about the thoughts about Las Vegas real estate.
This is my thought. Las Vegas is becoming a major metropolitan hub. Whatever, Dallas, Los Angeles, New York, whatever it may be. Now, what do people do in Los Angeles? They drive to get to work. Do they not? Mm-hmm. Some people, they can afford gigantic, beautiful penthouses and pay millions of dollars for it. But the vast majority of human beings can't afford that. Mm-hmm. So they're driving a long distance to get to work. Mm-hmm. Okay. So my personal opinion is people who are working jobs that, working man jobs are probably going to end up living in Pahrump if they have not purchased already. Mm-hmm. That would be my guess.
I have some realtors that do very well in Pahrump. I do a lot of business in Pahrump. Mm-hmm. And depending where your job is, it's not that bad of a drive. Only time it's that bad of a drive is when sometimes they close the roads down because of the snow and stuff. But there's people that live in Wyoming that drive to Denver every day to do jobs there. So you're right. You're right. You got to go somewhere. That's what you're trying to say. Because if the Las Vegas vicinity in the Southwest or Summerlin or Green Valley is just too expensive, where are you going to go? And you got to go somewhere.
The 160's been widened, but if you get all those people commuting like they do in California, have you ever sat in California rush hour traffic?
Unfortunately, yes.
It sucks.
It's horrible.
It's awful.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think that's probably what's going to happen to this city, and people are probably going to be stuck in that traffic on the 160 coming in, whether it's snowing or desert rattlesnakes or whatever, crossing the road. It's going to just be a pain in the ass, John.
It is.
And that's probably what's going to happen. So my recommendation of people is if you should talk to John, because he does mortgages and he'll get you qualified to get the money, is to purchase your home in Las Vegas so you're not out there with the rattlesnakes and the bighorn sheep and whatever else is out there, battling the tundra on your way to Vegas to get to work every day. And then, of course, on your way back home, which is a lot.
Oh, yeah. And there's no streetlights out there. It's dark as can be when you try to drive from Pahrump at nighttime. Or you get the stars.
Oh, they'll probably put some lights up,
Yep. And you're right. They're expanding and everything, but we're also supposed to have that international airport, the expansion down into Jean. But is that 5, 10, 15 years? Who knows? I know they were down in Prim. They're shut down one of the casinos, And so that wasn't profitable after COVID shut down and things like that. So just a lot of things are happening in Las Vegas, in Southern Nevada. We just don't know. Some people are still talking about Lake Mead and the water levels, which is a real thing. But at the same time, it's
we
like
reclaim most of the water, 90 something.
Yeah.
90
any internal water. Yeah, 98%. The key issue is desert landscaping and anything that has grass, like golf courses or like a casino. That's all that portable water that you potable water, whatever it's called. You can't drink it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not usable.
I mean, look, California uses most of the Colorado River's water, no?
Yeah.
What do they have in California? They have an ocean.
Yep.
I mean, desalinization plants, it's expensive, but they can do it.
They could do it. And plus, like you said, if they're reclaiming 98% of the water internally, then, you know, we should be okay. That's a big should. You know, you just don't know. All right. So let's talk a little bit about, I always love, like I said, I love wins. You know, I always talk to realtors. I don't care if you've been a realtor for 1 year and you've only done a couple deals, or you've been a realtor for 7 years, or you've been a realtor for 27 years. There's always one deal, one client, one family. Maybe, you know, they didn't believe in themselves and you did. Maybe you were able to save the day or something. So I would like the people to hear, you know, how you grind, how you work hard, how you go the extra mile for your clients. As I tell everybody, and I do a lot of CE classes here, and I always joke with realtors, who in here has ever sold a house? And if you've heard my joke before, you don't raise your hand, but most people raise their hand. And I say you've never sold a house. Real estate is all about being relationship builder. You want to build a relationship with a person, a family, whatever it may be, and help educate them. You know, I could tell everybody, I'm a server, okay? I don't own the rates, and I don't, I'm not the chef, and I'm not the owner of the restaurant. The rates are served to me, and I serve you the product in the program, okay? If you say, John, I want a lower rate, we can get you a lower rate. You're going to pay for it. You can say, John, I want a higher rate so that maybe I get a lender credit. I can offer that. But if it's not on the menu, can't help you, okay? So tell me one of the stories that you remember, just any story that you want, because I want everybody to know, once again, how much you love what you do, that you get up every day happy to be a broker owner and just going the extra mile for your clients.
Shapiro, you were the biggest pain in the ass. I love you, Mara. She was actually my testimonial on a TV, on my fake political commercial when I acted as if I was a politician during the election.
Okay.
And she was my testimonial. But this lady is the biggest pain in the ass I've ever. Am I allowed to say ass?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
I can say ass. All right. She's the biggest pain in the ass of any human being I've ever met. She's in Chicago, and she's calling me at 3 a.m. Midnight, 3 a.m. I'm like, what's going on with this lady? She's nuts.
Uh-huh.
And she's just hassling. I want this ottoman. No, I don't want the ottoman anymore. I want that lamp. And, and
this was when she's already in contract.
She's already in contract.
Oh, wow. So now she's negotiating furniture with the time difference. She's calling you at all sorts of the night and the morning.
Oh, yeah. She's nuts. But I love you, Bar. Anyways, she's just going bananas. She's going bananas. And what can I say? I've never dealt with. I don't want to say miserable. Just kidding, Mark. I'm not going to say that, but I've never dealt with someone who's having such an how do you call it?
So it sounds
an ottoman.
Yeah, it sounds like she just was full of anxiety. She was undecided, and she needed your support. So
anyway,
so you're the right agent for her. Even though like you joke with her, you can joke with her now after the loan's closed, and you're smiling. And she, if she was watching this, she'd be smiling too. But
she'll see it.
Yeah, but yeah, that once again, you went the extra mile. And there's so many amazing agents in Las Vegas, and I'm licensed in 21 states. So I've worked with tons of amazing agents, but there are agents that literally, they want to stay in their very strict lane. And you're willing to go above and beyond, work with a client who, like I said, you can joke with her by calling her a pain in the whatever. But the fact of the matter is, you didn't have to pick up that phone call. You did, because you knew it was her. Well, and you knew she needed you at midnight or 3 o'clock in the morning.
I didn't answer at 3 o'clock.
Okay.
So don't get people to start calling me at 3 or midnight.
Well, I was trying.
No, man, no. But yeah, no, anyways, like I said, we actually ate lunch, last week? And she gave me a good testimonial on, she's on TV with me. They call her Hollywood at the store, apparently.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because she's better at acting than I am, apparently. So, yeah, Mara, you're the funniest. And thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Damian, once again, I appreciate you coming in today. Everybody has their story, their journey. I jokingly say there's not a lot of people that wake up when they're 7 years old and say, Mommy, Daddy, I want to be a realtor. What you realize, getting those kind of structured jobs, you just are not that punch the clock kind of guy.
No.
You need to be able to fly free. You've taken the opportunity in the short period of time being in real estate, very long, but also short period compared to some veterans doing it for much, much longer. But you got your license. You saw the sign, that I love. I'm going to tell that story forever. The God sent you a sign, and it was Key Real Estate School. You passed the test. You had some great brokers. You gave them some shout outs today, which is wonderful.
Thank you, Mr. Holly.
And then you had an idea to become your own broker owner, and that's what you are now. You're running your own business, working with great people. So tell everybody who you are, how they can connect with you, and then we'll go from there.
Great. My name is Damian Einbinder, or it could be Damian Einbinder. Se habla español. And I can be reached at 702-371-0950, or you could also go to my website, bigmoneyrealty.com, and browse houses, see the value of yours. And, I'm always available for a call, usually not at Mara Shapiro times, but call me in the morning.
Yes, there you go. Awesome. Well, once again, Damian, thank you very much for coming in today. And this was a great podcast.
I appreciate it, John.
Thank you.